Have you ever been at home, perhaps on the couch, watching YouTube videos, or maybe playing your favorite video game, when suddenly you see movement out of the corner of your eye, but when you turn to look, nothing is there? Or have you ever been home alone when you've heard knocking, or a footstep, or even scarier, a voice? Hello and welcome to K&C Paranormal. Calvin here, and tonight we're going to explore some of the things that go bump in the night. At the beginning of this video, I asked if you've ever been alone and heard a voice. This just recently happened to Kim, my wife. As she was in our bedroom getting our dogs settled down and ready for bed. We have 4 dogs, so it's like trying to put 4 toddlers to bed at the same time. She said that she heard talking from outside the bedroom door in the hallway. She said she called out for me, asking what I was doing, but there was no answer. She then called me on my cell phone, asking who I was talking to. We call each other on the phone because it's easier than yelling when we're in different parts of the house. I wasn't talking to anyone. In fact, I wasn't even in the house. I stepped out front to feed the neighborhood cat. We were the only 2 people in the house. Well, at least the only 2 alive. This incident, along with others that we've experienced in our home, led me to create this video. So I asked myself, being paranormal investigators, what kind of haunts could Kim and I encounter? Well, the first of these are residual hauntings. This type of haunting is actually more common than you might think. Residual hauntings are usually the result of traumatic events such as battles and wars. A good example of this are the apparitions of soldiers in Gettysburg. Many people have said that these apparitions appeared to be marching or performing tasks such as loading cannons. These aren't really apparitions, as they're more like psychic impressions. And basically, that means that these apparitions don't even know you're there. They won't interact with you or acknowledge your presence and will continue doing what they are doing. The best way to describe them is they're like a recording playing over and over again. I said that these are more common, and that's because even though apparitions are more usual to these types of hauntings, a lot of the activity could be sounds or even smells. The next type of haunting is the intelligent haunting. This is the paranormal investigator's holy grail of hauntings. With this type of haunting, the spirit can and will interact and often communicate with the investigator. Signs of intelligent hauntings include responsive and interactive activity, objects being moved or influenced, and random acts of paranormal activity. Another type of haunting that can be quite scary are poltergeist. The word poltergeist comes from Germany and means noisy ghost, and boy do they live up to that. With this type of haunting, the activity can be extremely intense, with loud banging noises and objects being moved around the room. Characteristics of a poltergeist can be the movement and throwing of inanimate, often extremely heavy objects, the opening and closing of doors and windows by no visible means, unexplained noises such as voices, moans, screams, explosions, crashes, raps, thumps, scratches and knocks on floors, doors, and walls, heavy footsteps, bed shaking, the breaking of household objects such as dishes, you hitting the like button. Wait, what? That's not one of the characteristics of poltergeist. But, since you're here, clothes being destroyed, stones, rocks, and dirt being thrown, horrible smells and mysterious fires, the appearance of pools of water on floors, the malfunctioning of electrical equipment, the unexplained appearance or disappearance of objects, apparitions, and even physical assaults. Here's the thing with poltergeist. Parapsychologists believe that poltergeists are the psychic manifestations of a living person's energy. Although they may appear at first glance to be a true haunting, it's generally accepted in parapsychology circles that they're often related to tumultuous emotions of a very not dead spirit. In other words, it's thought that the activity is not related to spirits, but the living. That the events center around a single person, usually a teenage female going through puberty. But it can also be someone in physical or emotional pain or just under a lot of stress. The thought is that this person is unconsciously creating the activity themselves through a subconscious form of psychokinesis called recurrent spontaneous psychokinesis. Okay, so I had to look this one up. Recurrent spontaneous psychokinesis is a term used to describe paranormal activity that occurs repeatedly over time, especially poltergeist activity. It's a modern interpretation of poltergeist activity. They can make their own bed shake and make knocking sounds on the walls, and this is because they are rebelling on a subconscious level. In more advanced cases, they can make objects fly across the room, and you can be slapped or scratched. And if that wasn't bad enough, you have a lot of stress or trauma in your life, this can continue and it can follow you from house to house until you solve whatever emotional problem is causing it. There have been many case studies done trying to prove this theory. Too many to get into in this video. But if you'd like to see a video doing a deeper dive into some of those case studies, let me know in the comments. There's a type of apparition known as a crisis apparition. Now these aren't really hauntings or even a ghost. These are usually a one-time paranormal experience when a ghost is seen at the time of its death by family and friends as a way of saying goodbye or giving important information. For example, you're in bed one night and you wake up to see your dad standing over you smiling at you gently. And just as you start to say something, he disappears. And at that same time, you receive a phone call from a relative informing you that your dad just passed away. Nothing I probably will ever catch on camera, but I thought it was cool and decided to talk about it in this video. Another very scary haunt are shadow people. They're usually shapeless dark masses, mostly seen in the peripheral vision. Individuals that encounter them have said that they have a feeling of dread. Shadow people have no discernible facial features such as a mouth, nose, or facial expressions. They've been described as made up of dark smoke or dark steam. At times, when they move, they appear to be moving on an invisible track from one place to another, like they're gliding across the floor. Some have been seen to hop or what appears to be a strange dance. They are also known to stare at the floor. Two common types of shadow people are the Hat Man, that looks like he or she is wearing a 1930s fedora hat, and the hooded figure, which looks like the shadow person has a hood over their head. The hood and hat seem to be the only clothing that these things appear to wear. Otherwise, they're not wearing any clothing at all. Freaky. An extremely rare haunting is that of the doppelganger. The doppelganger is considered the evil twin, the bringer of misfortune and the omen of death. These types of hauntings are just a belief or a common theory among the paranormal community as of now. However, there have been more and more videos of people reporting hearing their names called when they are alone, and the voice calling their name is their own. The last type of haunting that I'm going to talk about is the demonic haunting. These are truly terrifying. Demonic infestations or inhuman hauntings are frequently debated but are one of the oldest reported types of hauntings. This type of haunting is regularly connected with the presence of demons, which are deeply rooted in various religions. For non-religious and non-believers, these types of occurrences are hard to believe, but if you ask anyone that has had a personal experience with a demonic infestation, they will tell you that they are very real. These types of entities are normally classified by their human or superhuman-like intelligence and interaction. These entities are believed to have never been human. Demonic possession, in which the demon takes over the body of a human victim, is also frequently reported. These entities are often extremely violent and are known to harm the victims both physically and emotionally. This is why demonic infestations are feared tremendously throughout the world, and why the Catholic Church has people that are responsible for investigating and dealing with this type of phenomenon. Well, there you have it. What do you think? Is there any one of these hauntings that you'd like to see me dive deeper into? You can let me know in the comments. And remember, just because you didn't catch whatever it was that you saw in the corner of your eye doesn't mean you're alone. Bye for now. We'll see you in the next investigation.
Remember the dogs?